The goal of this tutorial is to walk you through how to get the most out of your TalentBin and help you find the best talent your organization's combined network has to offer. We'll be covering creating rec workspaces, search and advanced search, the different types of profiles available, save search, favoriting, hiding, and notes, candidate outreach, and ATS integration. At this point, you've invited your colleagues to your bin, they've contributed contacts, and we're ready to start jamming. First, we're going to cover creating rec workspaces. Your TalentBin is based on a concept of rec workspaces, in which all work for a given rec takes place. Here, we already have a Ruby engineering and a product manager rec going, but we're going to set up a new rec workspace for an iOS engineer. We've provided a set of canned advanced searches to help guide your search and find the relevant candidates in your TalentBin. We checked off some iOS-related ones right now, but you can always customize them yourself and save your own queries later. We've now created the new iOS engineering rec workspace. You can see the other rec workspaces in your bin at the top of the screen. You can also see the quick searches that we added when we created the bin. And if you want to add another rec workspace, you can do that right in line as well. In this case, we're going to add one for a product marketing manager role and check off the product marketing canned search to get that rec started. As you can see, we're searching across the same corpus of contacts as in the iOS engineering rec workspace, but in this case, the profiles that were returned were those that were generated by the product marketing canned search. Now we're going to talk about searching your TalentBin. Each rec workspace searches across the entire population of your TalentBin. All the contacts that have been added by your staff are available to be filtered, flagged, and followed up on. We're going to start with this iOS engineering rec here. We have our canned quick searches we added before to flip between, each of which returns a set of profiles from your bin, with resume information and the internal point of contact at your organization who contributed that candidate. In this example, we've got 30 profiles returned from the contacts in my bin, but we can also modify an existing search or create our own. For example, we can further tighten the query to only return iOS engineers from a set of companies known for iOS engineering. We can do the same thing with geography. Here, we're going to add some geography limitations to this, in that, say, we're primarily interested in engineers in the San Francisco Bay Area, regardless of company. 21 profiles match, all of which have locations in the Bay Area, but also match our iOS requirements. Or we can do the same thing for, say, New York. Wow, you can really tell that my TalentBin network is strongest in the Bay Area. Looks like we need to invite our New York office to contribute to the TalentBin. Now let's talk a little bit about the kinds of profiles you find in your TalentBin. Each search result has a full profile, either pulled from LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, behind it. LinkedIn profiles have information pulled from the contact's LinkedIn profile on the contributor's behalf. You can also click out to the original LinkedIn profile if you like. Facebook profiles have work and education information along with like information that helps provide a better sense of what the candidate's professional interests are and if they might be a better fit in the organization. You can also click out to the source Facebook profile in question. Twitter profiles feature description, website, and location pulled from the source Twitter profile, along with a set of interest keywords derived from the tweets, followers, and followees of a given Twitter profile. You can also click out to any websites that are featured in the Twitter profile. The keywords are a reflection of the profile's interest as derived from the owner's tweets. In this case, this is a software engineer who works at Twitter, and you can see his primary keywords feature things such as Twitter, engineer, developer, design, and product. You can also click out to the source Twitter profile. In addition to being able to customize searches, you can also save them off for coming back to later. So in our geography constraining example, we can now save off that iOS engineering query with the New York constraint so we can come back to it after the New York office has joined and contributed all their contacts. The saved search will show up in the same area as the other quick searches we already had associated with this rec workspace. And we can do the same thing with the Bay Area geography constrained search, saving it off to be able to come back to later. Just click Save This Search and provide a title to refer to the search by. This way, if we have to leave what we're working on, we can come back to it and pick up where we left off, say if we wanted to come back to the New York iOS engineer query. Sometimes it's nice to include your own contacts in the search results, because even the most on top of it networker forgets when people move around. But if you want to only search across the contacts of your contributors and leave yours out, you can do that. Running the same search, you can now see that Dean no longer shows up. The idea behind rec workspaces is that we don't want recruiting and hiring staff to have to repeat work. As you filter down all the contacts in your bin, you can star candidates that are relevant to that rec and hide those that are not applicable. Hiding profiles only hides them from this rec workspace, like this profile, a product management leader who no longer does iOS development. We hide him from the iOS engineering rec workspace so he doesn't cruft up our search results. His profile is still available in the TalentBin, and if we were, say, searching for a VP of product management in a different rec workspace, his profile would still be available there. In this fashion, you can process all of the resumes that come back for a given search, and when you've worked down through your search, you know that you'll never have to do that work again. The interesting profiles are starred and in your favorites for this rec workspace. The irrelevant ones are hidden. If you go back to your saved search, you can see that your process profiles don't show up again. They stay put where you put them. When new profiles show up in your bin because you add new contributors or your contributors add new LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter contacts, those that match your search will show up as unprocessed, but you'll never have to process someone you've already starred or hidden in a given rec workspace. In a given rec workspace's hidden profiles, you can always go and unhide a profile you hid in that rec workspace on accident. This way, you can be confident that unprocessed candidates that match your searches are new candidates and not dupes, clogging up your workflow. One approach to take is to start with the narrowest searches possible, to look at low-hanging fruit first, and then expand your search outward. In this example, we're looking for a mobile product manager. We started with our canned staff product manager search, which in this bin gives us 145 results. But since this is a mobile product manager role, we want to constrain this search down some more with some mobile keywords. Doing so brings our results count down to 85. We can save off this search so we can work our way through those 85 results, starring interesting candidates or hiding irrelevant profiles. But maybe we want to do a similar narrowing of our search, but instead of using mobile keywords, we want to use mobile-centric software companies. We can add that search and then save it off too. As we can see, that narrows our search down to 52 results, which we can save off to work down. In our rec workspace, we can start with the most precise results, work on those first, and then expand out to less precise results, looking for hidden gold, confident that the profiles that we already hid or starred in earlier searches in our rec workspace won't show up in our broader searches, making us do the work again. Your bin is as powerful as the amount of people who have contributed their networks to it, such that your rec workspaces and their searches can sniff out great candidates in your collective network. In this example, we have 180 results for a PHP engineering query. If I check my TalentBin health, I can see that I have 19 contributors and around 20,000 profiles to search across. As I add more contributors to my bin, it will help me raise the number of contacts I have access to, and by extension, the number of interesting candidates for my recs, like that PHP engineering rec. You can easily invite more people through the integrated invite tool. Each contributor brings around 1,000 contacts to your bin, on average. For the best results, invite colleagues, advisors, and board members. People who have extensive and high-quality networks are those who are going to be the best contributors to your TalentBin. Once you've identified your list of interesting candidates, you can reach out a few ways and document your work in progress. For example, for this engineer in the iOS engineering rec workspace, we can note down why we thought he was interesting for this rec, potentially to share with the hiring manager or our recruiting team members. Once you've decided that you want to engage the interesting candidate, there are a couple approaches you can take. You can reach out via email to the internal contact for more information or to ask for an introduction straight from your TalentBin. In this case, Peter was the person who contributed Salish to this TalentBin. The default from email comes from the owner of the TalentBin, but you can replace it if the outreach is from someone different. You can also BCC yourself to keep track of your communications and CC relevant people, like the hiring manager if you choose. You can also modify the provided message as you see fit. An email was just sent to the internal contact asking for an introduction. When you're done, you can document the state in the profile notes. Or if you want to reach out directly, you can do that too. From LinkedIn-based profiles, you can pop into an in-mail page on LinkedIn, if you like, addressed to the candidate. On Facebook profiles, you can pop directly into the Facebook messaging functionality on Facebook, again, addressed at the candidate. So too on Twitter-based profiles, where you can jump directly to a Twitter @ message from the profile page addressed to the candidate. Once you've got a lead that turns into a candidate, you can take them out of your TalentBin sourcing database and pop them into your applicant tracking system of choice. You can document the results in the profile notes and then export the relevant profile as a PDF for inclusion in the ATS record for that candidate. Thanks for watching this tutorial. And here's to using your TalentBin to find and harness the amazing talent in your existing staff's professional and personal networks. We look forward to your feedback.